Dating feels impossible in 2026, but there is a solution. And I'm here today with Joel Monteleone, a dating and relationship strategist for high achieving women and entrepreneurs. Tell us, Joel, what is the answer?
That's a loaded question, Andrew Martin. Thanks so much for having me. I'm excited to be here. Um, I mean, the answer that it's been for many, many decades, right? I think dating apps and technology and, you know, a lot of the connection that has provided so much abundance and growth for a lot of people has negatively impacted the way that we relate to each other and how we build connections and how we inevitably date. But there, you know, the solution is to go back to kind of how we did it before all of this dating apps, everything happened. It's meeting people in real life, right? Building friendships, getting to know each other, being vulnerable, authentic, understanding who we are at our core so that we can then call in someone that matches us and that we want to build together with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We've complicated it so much in a way because we don't feel that it's as easy as just that, like just reaching out to people. So in your experience, what are a couple things that tend to stop maybe your clients or other people that you've consulted into dating? Like what's stopping them?
I think what's stopping them is a lot of heartbreak and a lot of confusion and dating either the wrong type of people or dating the wrong people for them over and over and over again, and then getting fed up and getting tired and getting and losing hope in the process altogether. I think if everyone had positive experiences dating, then they'd want to continue to do it for as long as possible. That's just not the case. That's not what's occurring. People are dating and they're having negative experiences. They're getting ghosted. They're getting treated like shit. They're having people, be mean to them or whatever it is. It's creating this environment to where people don't want to participate in it anymore, which is sad because dating is like a fun thing. You're meeting new people, you're exploring, you're adventurous, it's expansive. Like dating can be one of the most fun activities that you do if you are open to that. But if you continue to have an experience where you're like, I don't ever want to do this again, and you keep experiencing that over and over and over again, two things are true. Is dating getting harder, or are you just kind of dating the wrong type of people? Right? If you're experiencing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, at some point you've got to look in the mirror and say, how am I continuing to create this? Because there are people out there who are dating and finding relationships and finding romance without lowering your standards, without having to settle. That is happening. So if it's happening for others, then it can happen for you. So if you are not experiencing that, well, then there's actually something that you are likely doing or being that is contributing to it. And so, yes, is dating harder? Sure. Is dating impossible? I don't think so.
That's a lot. Yeah, no. Bam, mic drop right from the start. And it is true, but I noticed something important which you said is like, are we creating it? How how do women or how do people in general tend to create these difficult dating situations?
Yeah, everything comes down to mindset. If you walk around with beliefs that are actually working against you or actually are the antithesis of what you want to create in your life, for example, for women, if you want to date a man, but you think all men are awful, that's not a belief that's going to support that, right? If you want to be in a relationship, but you think that your city has no good people in it, well, then that's going to be really hard to start a relationship. If you want, a man who is traditional and like family oriented, but don't want him to have been married before and you're dating people in their 40s, like that's going to be really freaking hard. And so like the stories that we tell ourselves and the conversations that we have and the mindset that we have, it gets to be in alignment with what we want to create. If we want a relationship with a man, well then we better start liking men. If we want a relationship in our city, then we better believe that our city has something to offer. If we want a certain type of man, well, then we got to be open to how that's going to look in any possibility and not be so rigid about it. And so I think we've been conditioned with social media and content and from our parents' relationships that we have to have this thing that is so super specific that all of these needs need to be met prior to the relationship. Is that possible? Yeah, sure, it's possible. What could it be very difficult to find? Yeah, it could be very difficult to find. And so it's really shifting like, hey, what do you believe about yourself and what do you believe about others? And are those beliefs supportive to what you want to cause and create in your relationship, or are they detracting to what you want to cause and create in your relationship? And a lot of the time, at least 80% of our thoughts are negative. So we're telling ourselves that we're a piece of shit. Everyone's shitty. Like that's going to turn into us believing that relationships are challenging because not only are we not worthy of something beautiful, but there's no one else that's good enough for me. Like that's a really tough target to hit.
100%. And yeah, it starts by changing the mind. Ho- did you have an experience similar to that, maybe in dating or in other areas where you had to like rethink your beliefs? How did that happen?
Yeah. So, I mean, I tell women I help them how to filter out the fuck boys, right? And I hope I can curse on this because I've probably cursed at least 12 times already, and we're 5 minutes in. Um, it's it's how to filter out the fuck boys, and I know how to filter out the fuck boys because I used to be one, and for over a decade, I was single. I slept with a lot of women. I partied all the time. I didn't really have any morals or values or really any care in the world except for myself. And one day I was walking home late at night, 4 a.m. from a bar by myself, blacked out, and I got attacked by a man who, wanted to harm me for no apparent reason. And the next day, luckily it wasn't too severe of injuries. I just got punched in the face. I got chased, fixed me, whatever. I woke up the next morning and I looked in the mirror and I kind of thought to myself, I'm like, whoa, where did I become this? I was going to be 30. I was about to be 30. And I looked and I thought to myself, damn, I have the same priorities now about to be 30 that I did when I was about to be 20. So they were like sex, drugs, and rock and roll, right? It's just like, hey, how much money can I make? How much fun can I have? How exclusive parties can I get into? How beautiful women can I be around? And those are the same priorities. I was just older and I made more money, but I was essentially the same person. And I looked, I'm like, this isn't who I want it to be. Like, how did this happen? Where did time go? And so I made a commitment in that moment. I'm like, damn, when I turn 40, a decade from now, my priorities will look a lot different than they do today at 29. And so I made a really powerful decision. And I started to work out at the gym, started to get up early, started to not go out late at night, started to invest in my personal development, started to coach people, launch businesses, brought communities together. Like that's the type of person and man and partner that I want to be. I actually had this one moment where I'm like, damn, I want to be someone with my relationship that hosts events at their house or brings people together. And I thought to myself, I've never done this in my life. Like, how would I ever attract a woman who wants to do this if I'm not that person? So, hey, if I want to bring people together, I just got to start bringing people together and be that person so that I can attract somebody who also wants to bring people together and be a community leader because you don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. Like, I'm not going to be able to be in a relationship with someone who hosts parties all the time if I'm just trying to freeload off of her parties. No, I've got to be able to have that experience too so that we can partner together. I become the man that I know that the woman that I want to be with is going to be attracted to. So when it comes down to mindset, takes making a powerful decision and giving yourself permission to create a new belief. And you can create any new belief, but create a belief that serves you, right? I was not living from the perspective of the man and the personality type that would serve me. The guy who's partying every weekend isn't going to be a father, isn't going to be a good partner. and I desire to be that. So, your mindset can shift at any moment, but it's got to take moment by moment by moment commitment to that new belief, to that new mindset shift.
Hmm. Yeah, I love that. And you say it is a choice of moment by moment. But I've talked with a bunch of women also, and they have who they want to be in a way, right? But they tend to put the pressure sometimes on the men that they should be like this, right? So how do you play in terms of like the belief of, okay, this is what I'm worth and this is who I am, but I don't see that on the other person. So, for example, a woman says, right, they I want to be a traditional wife. I want to I'm already taking care of myself. Like I have the money. I'm already paying for myself. I have this level of standard, right? And I expect my partner to do this for me, right? And they are not finding these people. And when they find it, it's not quite what they're liking, right? So what have you seen those cases? What usually happens there? Because they think they have their beliefs set and they think they're making a decision, but in the external world it's not represent.
Yeah, I mean it's challenging to hit a moving target. If you want something, if you want a person, and this is true for women and men, right? I'm not just this is across the board. You've got to focus not on what the person has, but on the who the person is. Like, not necessarily, okay, I hear this all the time. I want a guy with a good job. It's like, no shit, you want a guy with a good job. Like, that's the baseline, right? But like that the guy who has a good job or a stable career, he might not be making a lot of money, right? But does he have a plan? Right? Does he take initiative? Is he the type of person that will have a lot of money, that will have a really powerful career 5, 10 years down the road? Right? Like that's who you got to look at. You got to look at who the person is in this moment, not who you expect them to be, because life's hard, right? like people it's not easy to make a lot of money. It's not easy to get a ton of promotions. But with time, the right person will achieve that. And so it's getting very clear on, hey, not I want this person to have all these things, but I want to co-create this relationship with another person. Some things that I see a lot of in the clients that I coach is they say, I want a guy who has a really strong family or it comes from a good family. And I asked them, I go, what does that mean that they come from a good family or they have a good relationship with their family? Like, is that like, what do you want? Do you want to be able to go like out to brunch with your mother-in-law? Or do you think that there's characteristics in a man who comes from a good family? Or do you want to go to like Aspen with your family? Like, what about coming from a good family do you actually care about? Because like me, I have a pretty good family. Am I super close to them? Not like crazy close, but like, do I want to raise a really close, connected family? Of course I do. Right. And so it's like, hey, do you want someone who comes from a good family because you want to create a family of your own? Or do you want some external factors like I want to go to brunch and tea time with my sister-in-law and mother-in-law? Okay, well, unfortunately, going to tea with my mom and sister has nothing to do with who I am as a partner, right? And so it's like, okay, great. Would you rather put a lot of weight on the fact that you can go to tea with my sister and my mother? Because chances are that's not going to happen if you're in a relationship with me. Maybe it could if you wanted to do it, but it's not like they're going to tea all the time, right? But like, if you're going to judge me based on my family, then okay. But like, my sister and my mom aren't in a relationship with you, right? And so it is getting really clear on, hey, what is a non-negotiable versus a preference? And I think a lot of people out there think that their preferences are non-negotiables because you can't have a list of 50 non-negotiables and expect that you're going to find the right person. Like you will maybe eventually, but it's going to take a lot of work and potentially moving to multiple cities and going out every single night and asking all your friends to introduce you to someone and putting yourself on social. It's going to take a lot because you're trying to find a good hey stack. But if you open it up and say, hey, these are my non-negotiables, these are my preferences, focus on your non-negotiables and focus on the type of relationship that you want to co-create together, right? Hey, I want a family that's connected with 3 kids. Great. Find a man who also wants to create that with you, not a man who comes from a family of 3 kids for some obscure reason.
Yeah.
I'm kind of just rambling.
No, I love it. That that
Go
that
with
was that was freaking golden. Like I love it. Like people mistake non-negotiables for preferences. And I probably done the same thing, right? I've narrowed down my list to 4 core things that I want as a baseline in a partner, right? Not 100, right? Not 50. And we can have preference, and I think it's also interesting to have a relationship where we don't agree on certain things and we can negotiate or we can learn from each other in different things, right? If they're exactly what you're looking for, probably is not exactly what you're looking for because you can have a robot instead of a relationship.
there are more like there's more and more single people like that are out of relationship that are dating, and especially at my age, right? I'm 34. A lot of people in their 30s are all claiming they want to be in a long-term relationship, and yet they're not, right? And so something is disconnected, right? Whether it's their expectations or their reality. But there's something that's not clicking because if you want to be in a relationship, there's more single people than ever. That should work, right? And so there's something that's just not meeting it. And I only have responsibility and the potential to change the things that I do, my own actions, my interpretations. That's the only thing I have control over. I can't control other people in my city. I can't control the people I'm dating. I can only control me, right? And so, okay, great. If I want to create an outcome, I've got to do my best to create that outcome.
Mhm. What what do you think of now this idea that I want to date to marry? And I want to try to make sure that the person that I'm dating is like potential Miss or Mrs. and nothing else.
I mean, I think it depends on what you want, right? Like, I think there are people who don't want to date to marry and who want to just fuck around or have a situationship or whatever. But like, if you're going to do that, you've got to be honest and authentic upfront with the person that you're in that relationship with. Say, hey, I don't want anything long term. I don't want to get married. This is just fun, whatever. And I think there are people who will be down for that. But if you want to be in a relationship and you want to date to marry, then you honestly shouldn't date anyone who doesn't want that. You should really be looking for that person to marry because if that's your goal, then great. Everything that gets to occur from this point on gets to be in service of that outcome of that goal, right? And if you want to date to marry, but you're going out every weekend and fucking around with like random people, that's a misalignment in your actions and you know the the thing that you want to create, which is the long-term relationship. And so you've got to align your actions. If you want to meet your wife or your husband, but you're only hanging around people who would never really be your wife and your husband, well, then no wonder you're having trouble, right? If you don't know where your wife and husband are, then you got to put some effort in. You got to go find them. You might actually have to change some of your patterns and some of your hobbies and some of your actions in order to align with the people that you want. Because again, you don't attract what you want, you attract who you are. I see this all the time. This actually happened 2 days ago. I was at a coffee shop and this woman was talking about the guy she wants, and she's like, I'm so crazy. Like I'm a crazy person. And so I need a man who's like grounded and calm and can like tell me to shut the fuck up. And I'm like thinking to myself, I go, in what world would a grounded, calm man ever want to be in a relationship with a girl who identifies as a crazy chick? Like, it's just not based in reality at all. The type of man who's going to want to be with a crazy chick is a man who loves drama, who's ungrounded, who likes chaos. And that's what he's going to want. That's what she's going to attract. If she wants a man who's grounded, she's got to also be grounded. You don't just get to, you know, dream up this hypothetical man or woman and say, this is what I need without changing anything about me. Right? It's like, oh, I'm a super selfish person. And so I need someone who's okay with me being super selfish and not complain about me being selfish and just let me do and have whatever I want. It's like, you're not, that's not a real, that's not a real thing. Right. And like the same is true with those things. It's like, hey, I want someone who will fit my exact replica of the perfect person that I need so that I don't need to change anything about me and I can stay exactly as I am. And then someone just comes in and fits my life perfectly without me making any concessions, any um, changes in my life. It just doesn't work like that. Relationship is a co-creation. It's conceiving on things. It's collaborating on things. It's changing who you are to better serve the relationship. And like that's how you know you found the right person, when you're willing to actually make those changes. If you're not willing to make those changes, then you're either not ready or they're not the right person.
Mm, yeah, 100%. It has to be there needs to be accountability on both areas, on both sides, right? We both are looking to build something bigger than us versus, hey, just complete me or help me or save me, right? How often it's the other way around, right? Have you seen with your clients where they find this guy that they feel attracted, but they feel that they need to save them? How do you approach that? Sometimes it's the other way around, right? I don't need to change, but I want to change him, right? I feel that he's a good guy. I think that he has potential. Uh, can I actually change him? That's the question.
I mean, can you change him? Sure. Yeah. Yeah, you can change somebody. Um, is it gonna take a lot like energy and effort? And are you gonna get frustrated with like having to put so much effort into it? Yeah, probably. You know, like you putting in that effort to change somebody is not gonna result in what you want. It's gonna result in resentment, anger, because you're now putting in extra effort to turn a man into the man that you want him to be versus accepting him for who he is, right? Accept him for who he is. And if you don't like who he is, then don't date him, right? But again, it comes down to the same thing. It's like, I want this man to be a very specific thing. So I'm going to control everything about it and make him who the man I is. But that's not the man that you want. You want it like most women that I talk to, they want a man who leads, takes initiative, plans things. Like, find that man.
So let's say there's a woman that's watching this and she says, "Okay, I want to change. I want to change my mindset. How? Right? How do I start changing my mindset?"
Well, the first step is you got to give yourself permission. You got to give yourself permission that your mindset can be changed, right? That you are simply choosing to be a version of you, choosing to believe certain things that can be different. One of my biggest pet peeves is when someone tells me, "Oh, that's just the way I am." That's just the way I am. That's the way I am. It's like, no, that's just who you are choosing to be over and over and over and over again. Right. And so the first step is to give yourself permission that something can be different. That's what I work with my clients on. It's like, hey, who you're being obviously is not working. So let's choose to be a different version of you. Let's choose to risk in conversations, be vulnerable in conversations. Trust that this man across from you on a first date is actually a pretty cool dude. Sure, he might not be your dude, but he's not a gross, awful man, right? It's like It's just like giving yourself permission to look at the world a little bit differently. That's the first step. Because if you don't give yourself that permission, then you operate from a fixed mindset, and then there's nothing that you can do about it. But you've got to give yourself permission that there's possibilities of something different and new to believe and then create.
And now, if we want to become maybe a bit more tactical, right? Where where can people meet people, right? Because we used to do this in the past, but now there's so many options. There's so many places. There's bars. There's parties. There's like uh, libraries. There's the mall, right? Where have you seen that people can find the people that actually match them? That
I believe that every event is a singles event in this day and age. Like I think everywhere you go is a singles event. It's a dating event. It's a connection event, and that's how things have always been, right? If you go to a run club, you go to a gym, anyone who is single there has the possibility of being your person, right? The chances of you and that person ending up at the same run club or the same gym or the same dance class or like a self-development conference or anything, it's very low. Very, very rare that you're both in this point in history at the same time. And so take advantage of it, right? And so there is so much happening on a Friday night that is not a bar, that is not a club. You just got to find it. And so, what I would do during the weekdays or during times when you meet people, if you're not, maybe you're not attracted, you meet a guy or you meet a girl, you're not that attracted to them, but they're interesting. They maybe they have like the job or the interest of someone that you would be attracted to. Ask them, hey, what do you like to do on the weekends? Where do you go on the weekends? Like, I'm curious. I'm trying to find new places, new communities to be a part of. Would love to learn like what you do, where you go, and learn. It took for me to stop drinking entirely for me to realize that there's a whole world outside of 6th Street in Austin, Texas, right? Like it was crazy. My mind was blown. I had a belief that there was no way there's anyone my age who's not here on 6th Street. This must be every 22 to 30-year-olds in Austin, Texas, because there's thousands of people here. Where else could they be? And then when I stopped drinking, I realized that, oh, okay, there's a lot of people who aren't here. They might be at home, and like that's the challenging thing is like your dream partner on a Friday, Saturday night is probably at home. And so how do you find him? Well, you go out and you meet people Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, out doing normal adult person things. Like you want the man who's grounded. You want the man who has a regulated nervous system that like will treat you well. He's probably not out getting fucked up on a Friday and a Saturday night. So it's the reality of it. It's probably with his friends, making dinner, going to bed early, working. That's the reality of the situation. So you got to take advantage of the moments that you have on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I never understood this whole going up to people at a gym thing, like not being able to go to ask someone out at the gym. Like, what fucking world are we living in? It's like, okay, we can't ask people out at the gym. Well, then what are we supposed to do? Like that's the only time anyone leaves their home during the week is to go to the gym, right? And so why aren't we allowed to ask people out there or at least start a conversation or at least connect, right? It's just like, oh, that's where I go to work out. I don't like to be bothered. That's the only time you leave the house. How is anyone supposed to connect with you and ask you out if you actually shut yourself out from every single opportunity for someone to connect with you in real life? Like this is all mindset. Like you've got to give yourself permission to try something new. God, I would, if anyone's listening to this, you can ask me out anytime you want, anywhere, at a funeral, dinner with my mom. Like there's no off limits. If you have the power, the confidence to do it, go for it.
awesome. What do you think of dating apps then? Like, are they still effective in 2026, or how can you be effective on dating apps? Let's ask that.
Dating apps solved the problem that didn't exist. Like honestly, like they're like, oh, they use dating apps so you can date people 60 miles away. It's like, I don't need to date someone 60 miles. I don't need to know that there's a single person 30 to 60 to 400 miles away from me. That's not what I need to know. I need to know, hey, who is single in my area? And you want to know how you find that out? Asking people, going to the coffee shop, going to the gym, whatever, right? And so I think what dating apps have done is they've given people a tool that validates their insecurities and their fear. Oh, I can't ask some if I'm afraid to ask somebody out in real life, so I'll just lean on the dating apps so that I don't have to. It made connection too easy, but it made dating way harder. Like, it is so easy for me to connect with you and say, "Hi, I'm single. Let's go on a date." Great. That was easier than ever. But the actual dating part of it, because once you get on that date, then we actually got to actually determine whether we like each other or whether this is a good match or whether I feel safe being vulnerable or whether I trust you. Like, all those things have become way more difficult because people's trust has eroded with dating apps, with social media. Like, it's a tool that helps some people go on a lot of dates. Do I think it works for most people? I don't. I don't think it works for most people. I think truly, like, the most like the best way to go on dates is to go become friendly with people in your everyday life, connect with them, and then make a decision if you'd like to see this person again, and be upfront that, hey, I'm interested in you romantically. Are you open to that? Like, it's not that difficult.
Yeah.
It's not easy because, like, yeah, that takes vulnerability and, like, confidence and, like, if you're afraid to put yourself out there, I get it. But, like, if you go up to 10 people a day and say, "Hey, what's your name? I'm Joel." Ask them a question about the environments that you're in, and then say, "Would you like to get coffee sometime?" If you did that 10 times a day, there would be no more dating recession. It's just it would be over. I'd be out of a job, which would be great.
Now you just focus on the relationship part.
Yeah, exactly. Then that's like, what do I do after that? Well,
Exactly.
be honest.
Like yeah. No, I think that's so important, right? It's and people will say like 10 people, reaching out to 10 people, like that's scary. How what if they reject me? What if they feel that I'm weird? Then what?
I'd love to hear from them. Then what? Right? Okay, great. Yeah, they think you're weird. Join the club. They think you're creepy. Well, are you creepy? Because if you're not creepy and they think you're creepy, who cares what they think? Right? But if you are creepy and they think you're creepy, well, then don't be creepy. And again, like this, I'm talking about this all a matter of factly, and it's not as simple, right? But, like, it can be. It's whether your mindset is strong enough to not give a shit. I tell my clients, if someone rejects you, you know what that means? It doesn't mean, oh, I'm a piece of shit. They rejected me. I'm never good enough. What I tell my clients is like, damn, that's their loss. Because I know my clients, I know who you are as a human. I know who you be as a partner. Same with me. I know who I am. I know how I be. If someone rejected me, man, that was that's their loss. And best of luck to them. Right? And that's the belief, that's the framework that I choose to operate from because it serves me. It doesn't serve me to think, oh, I'm rejected. I'm a piece of shit. I'll never be in love. No, I wasn't their person and they want someone different. I wouldn't have made that decision, but you know, maybe they have worse judgment than I do. Remind us that, right? But yeah, I mean, it's like create whatever interpretation serves you. I tell my clients all the time, we live in a loneliness epidemic. I didn't say it. Surgeon General, whoever said it. A loneliness epidemic. Most people are lonely. Therefore, if most people are lonely, it's safe to say that most people desire connection, right? So if most people desire connection, then me going up to somebody and saying, "Hi, my name's Joel. How's your day going today?" That person would invite that interaction because most people want connection, right? I'm not saying go up to them and go, "Hey, what's up, girl? Your ass is looking fat, and I would love to take you home right now." No, that's not the connection that they would want, right? But saying, "Hey, my name's Joel. How's your day going? Nice day outside. Do you shop here often?" Right? Great. And having a bit of a connection. And then if you want to ask them out because you feel like there's something there, and say, "Hey, I'd love to take you out to coffee sometime. Are you open to that?" And then they have the choice to say yes or no. And then respect whatever they say. They say yes, great. They say no, great, and move on. But to rob the world of that connection because you're so afraid that they're gonna think you're creepy or you're so afraid they're gonna think you're weird, that's going back to the very beginning of this conversation, that's a mindset that's not serving you. I have so many clients who walk around thinking that everything they do is a burden to somebody else. I'm not gonna go up to them because I'm a burden. It's like, oh God, that's heartbreaking. As if everyone is walking around believing that they're a burden. I see like that. I mean, that just leads to disconnection and loneliness. And it's vehemently not true because not everyone can be a burden. So
Now, what about, again, like the boss babe, the successful entrepreneur, the one that's like putting the 12-hour days every day for their businesses? Like, how am I going to make time for that?
being a boss babe and having a relationship.
Yeah. Like, or actually dating or talking to people. Like, I just want my boyfriend to appear here and be with me.
I if something is important enough, you're gonna invest time in it. And if it's not, then that's okay too. Right? But like it's being honest with yourself. If you do not have the capacity for a relationship, then you do not have the capacity for a relationship. And then you can't be upset when you don't have it or that there's no one there for you. It's like, well, you don't have actually the space or the capacity to hold this. And that's clear. There's nothing wrong with that. Go do your thing. Go build a business. Go invest in other relationships. That's fine. Whatever you want. But if you want the relationship, that's something that you desire, it's something you yearn for, then there gets to be space for it to exist. Going back to the earlier conversation, if you are unwilling to change anything about you to create the relationship that you desire, then one, either you're not ready, and that's okay. You don't have time. I'm in that position right now where like I would love a relationship and also know that I don't have time to give the relationship the time and energy that it deserves.
Mm, yeah. And it's a choice. And you're doing it from a specific choice versus trying to fit everything in.
Yeah. I mean, there's part of me that wants that to be true, right? That like desires that, but you don't see me going around complaining that I don't have my person. It's like, well, I haven't invested enough time or energy into it. I'm investing my time and energy in other things. And so to say that, oh, hey, this plant over here that I haven't been watering isn't growing, like, what the fuck? Why isn't it growing? Like, it's been so long, it should grow. It's, well, I haven't been watering it. I've been watering all these other plants. If I want to water this plant, then I might have to stop water these plants a little bit less. And so that's a decision that I got to make, and it's the one that I haven't made up until this point. So you got to just like you got to look at the world from a place of, hey, am I watering this plant? Is there enough? Like, is it growing? Am I giving it? Am I tending to it? Am I giving it the time and energy that it deserves? And if you're not, then you can't be upset that it's not growing. You can't look at the plant with resentment and say, God, that plant has never grown. It's never gonna grow. I'll never let it grow. It's like, you're just not watering it.
But if you're ready, right? If you're ready for a relationship and someone's watching this, like what's the benefit and how does a coach or like a strategist support you in this journey of finding that person? What's the role of a coach or a strategist there?
Shifting your mindset, shifting the way that you look at the world. Like the thing that's preventing you in relationships is likely showing up in other areas of your life. If you're afraid to use your voice, you're afraid to set boundaries, you're afraid to go for the things that you actually want, if you're afraid to ask for more money or date someone you think's out of your league, like that's all connected. And so what I do as a coach and what I work with my clients is, hey, taking that belief, whatever you believe about yourself or you believe about others, and creating an interpretation that serves you, creating a new, more empowering belief to then create the experience in dating and then your life that you desire. And, if you are ready for your dream partnership, is a 10 out of 10 important to you, then you can continue to do the same thing you've been doing this whole time, or you can decide to do something new. That's what I tell my clients. Hey, just the fact that you're here, the fact that we're working together means and shows me that you are so much closer than you believe you are because you've given yourself permission to try something new. You're committed to trying something new. I have so many friends out there who are like, oh my God, there's no good guys in Austin. All the guys are XYZ. It's like, no, they're not. They're just not. That's just not true. All the guys that you are dating and that you are attracted to might be the same because you are operating from a trauma or a pattern that is attracting the similar type of men in your life. But not all men in Austin are like that. I got that all the time in Los Angeles where I grew up. People are like, oh, everyone in LA is fake. I go, everyone in LA is fake. LA, 7 million people, like 3 million of them are like just Hispanic immigrants who are working hard. Like they're fake. I don't think they're fake. They're incredible people. They're kind. They're hardworking. They're amazing, right? It's like, but the people that you're hanging around with, they might be fake. The ones that you're meeting at the bungalow, the ones that you're meeting at West Hollywood, they might be fake. But you know what that says? Uh, that doesn't say anything about them. It says about you. You are attracting fake people. Therefore, you're probably fake. So that was one, like, that's a belief. That's like, oh, all people in this city are this way. It's like, they're not. LA is 7 million people. There's a lot of diversity, a lot of different people. I guarantee you, they're not all fake. And so, but if you operate in this place where, oh, all people are a certain way, that's what you're going to see. It's what you're going to attract. That's the world you're going to live in. And it's limiting. It's rigid. I see this with my women all the time. All men are this. Okay, all men are that. Okay, well then good luck being in a relationship. This doesn't work. So that was a wild rant, but that's what I work on with my I don't even know if this can go out, Angel Martin. That's what I work on with my clients
In there.
looking at the way that they look at the world and aligning to, hey, is this worldview or are these beliefs, are they supporting what you want or are they detracting from what you want? Okay, great. If they're detracting, then let's create a life that is actually in alignment.
Yeah. And you need to have mirrors and people that see that outside of you because probably you're not noticing it.
Yeah.
You're repeating those things in other parts of life. And when they work with you, right? And you were telling me the other day, like there's people that have gotten bonuses and other parts of their life also flourish when you have a coach. So could you share a
Yeah.
little about that?
Yeah. I mean, maybe this says a lot about me as a relationship coach, but my clients, they don't not only get relationships, but they also have gotten promotions, gotten new jobs, more money. They've gotten a $50,000 bonus. They got opportunities to row for like the US national team out of nowhere. What else? They got massive opportunities. It is it's what happens when you start to step into alignment in your life and everything starts to flow, including your relationship. And so when you start to identify the beliefs that are holding you back, that are creating blocks, when you remove those, so much abundance starts to come through. And the same is true with relationship. And it's just a matter of time. Remember, I'll never forget one of my clients. We were working together. It was after like 2 months. She's like, honestly, Joel, I don't know if my man's out there, but I feel like I'm in my prime. I'm in my prime. And I know, like, whether the man comes or not, like, I feel really good. And then that's the energy that attracts the men that you want. It's not the anxious attachment. It's not the avoidant. It's the, I know who the fuck I am. I'm confident. And every room that I walk into is my room. And that's how you attract your dream partner, when you're the only person that anyone can see. And that comes with alignment.
Cool. And how can people start working with you? Where can people find you? How can they learn?
Yeah. Follow me on on Instagram, Joel_Monteleone. That's where you'll find most of my stuff. I work privately, one-on-one with high-performing women. I do online profile reviews, but just follow me on Instagram. You can DM me there, and I'll get back to you, and we can get to work right away.
Awesome. If you were to give one final piece of advice to someone that's watching this around dating, what would it
Date your friends. Date your friends. The people that you feel the most comfortable around, the people that you love the most, the people that are part of your community that have similar interests. Oh yeah, that person, the one that you just thought about, have you ever thought about dating them? Give them a chance. Give her a chance. Because the universe has put them in your life, and there's obviously more in the relationship for you to explore, but you're not doing it because you're afraid of something. So if you take that fear away, then what?
Mm. Ladies and gentlemen, Joel Monteleone, go follow your love, talk to him. He's an excellent coach and strategist. So thank you so much for your time. And
Thank you.
thank you for spreading the love in a true way.
Thanks so much. Thanks, Angel Martin.
All right. Appreciate you.